Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to be joined with Ali, who's come all the way from New York to be with us with the fantastic movie Brother. Let's take a look at the clip.
Wow. It's so cozy in here.
Oh, thanks.
And clean. I mean, I don't know a single man who cares about cleaning. Wow, mom and dad would be in shock. Skype is so different.
So your arrival.
Cheers. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming from the other side of the country, and welcome to the New Filmmakers LA family. Thank you for bringing this brilliant film to us. For those that haven't seen it, tell us a brief synopsis.
Absolutely. The story is about a gay immigrant from a post-Soviet country coming over here, falling in love with a Mexican-American whose family is surprisingly very accepting. And then how he invites over his sister from the conservative country, and how she gets a shock to hear about the marriage, the impending wedding between the main character and his boyfriend, and how it shakes up after that, and how the whole family dynamics and quote-unquote drama takes place is what Brother is all about.
It's such a good movie. It's a really hard watch because for anyone who's ever been through that, you can't help but feel it right here. And I'm just so glad that you took it from these perspectives, these characters, these everything. How did this come about? Where did it start? And how did this turn from inspiration turn into a film?
So the script writing took a little while, especially my director, Alexei, talked to lots of our friends, our common friends, myself, himself, and all the different parts. We all had one thing in common. We are all immigrants, we are all gay, and we all come from countries which are not as accepting as it is over here. And on top of that, there is this added family dynamics of where what we call, it's the family homophobia. It's not just a societal part, but it's also a familial thing that comes in. So it was a combination of interviewing people, putting our stories into it, our lives understanding, if you may call it, and how it gels into this world, coming all together. So after a course of, I would say, 1.5 to 2 years when it came about and put it in, the story came into fruition. Even though it's, at this moment, I would say, very fictional in the sense that none of our friends, none of our part actually have somebody who actually came for the wedding. Weddings have happened, they have sisters, but they never flew in for the part. So that part was fictional, but I'm very glad that resonated with the audience, where it's believable. It is something that is like innate in everybody's part. It's like how a sibling reacts and how a sibling comes across in the part. And we did this during the COVID time frame, so it had its own challenges of the part. So
yeah. I mean, it was so realistic. It was like really, and it was incredible because more often than not, you've got maybe one family that's more accepting, one family that isn't, and that depends on where they live or their environment or who they're surrounded by, and you just nailed that whole experience. And it's just so hard because the story is about love, and you just want to feel accepted, right? And so that's really what was so hard to see between this couple of just they just want to be accepted with their families and just have the beautiful love that they want together, and other people be happy for it. How did you go about, obviously with the director, working with the script and working with the actors? What was that kind of process like?
First of all kudos go to my director, Alexei. He's brilliant in getting to the actual storyline, to the depth of it, and bring it. That was all the more reason that I collaborated and had an opportunity to work with him. His previous films have also been equally resonating with audience and evoking the emotion that comes in. With respect to Brother, there's a little bit of a backstory for this. The actor that played the main character role, Tony, this is his first film. He hadn't acted anywhere before. Yep, exactly. And the best part was when we sent out the call, he came forward, he presented, he gave the rehearsal and the taping. And one thing that resonated with him is he himself is a gay immigrant. He fell in love with the American fellow student who resonates very much with Tony's character as well as with Carlos's character in the movie. So that, like, once that thing came in, like, things were slowly coming into picture. Eugenia, the one who played the sister's role, that was again one is an accident, two is a pattern. It's like that was also a sudden development that we had. It's like she gave her audition. It's like, this fits well. She happens to be a sister herself. She traveled, came into US for her school. So she was right with the same mindset. It's like, I'm just coming in, I'm green, I'm coming in with the whole part. So that worked out. And last but not least, with Felipe, who worked out for the Carlos part, who now lives in Atlanta, comes from a family that's very accepting, very like there. So each one of them fell into the character by just being themselves.
Yeah.
And we made, especially Alexi made sure that we didn't need anybody to act. We just needed them to be themselves on the set.
Yeah.
Come there and do it. And the thing, being a gay director himself, and one of the main things that we all tend to have it is like we are click boom part. We are very regimented, very thing come in, everything is good. He's not into experimenting on the set. It's like he has the vision, he gets into it and comes in and has the conversation with the parts and gets it in. And one special thing about my director is he is great at having a very personal connection with the person, or he's a very quiet person. So as a result, every time he's looking at the camera and making sure that things are working, he has his vision in, and he relates to the person. Not just that's how when he writes it also comes out very well in the part. So,
I mean, of all the different films that you've made personally, like, how did this one sit differently, or what have you learned from this particular experience?
That's a difficult question. It's like you asking me which child of mine is my favorite. It's each one has had its own special thing in my life. With my first feature film, because it relates very much to my personal life, it has its own space in its part. With Brother, the coincidence is that in my first film, it had the father and the mother character, but there was no sister character. I have a sibling. And when the brother came along, it's like, okay, I can close out, my worldview of it's like, okay, let's finish up that part with the sisters aspect for it. So each one has its own place. Each one has its own emotion-evoking part. The relationship that one has with their parents, with their folks, is completely different than the emotion that you have with and life that you share with your siblings. So that's what resonated, and that's where it places. If there is a pedestal, then there is no first, second, or third rank. All my movies line up in one thing. And I recently was working on my, I call it the, like people have Wall of Fame. I call it the Wall of Ego. It's like, okay, let me put all of the, and all of the posters are right next to each other, no up, no down. So I did my own nailing of the walls to put it in. So each movie has its own space and place, and and one other thing that luckily that has happened is I never had to. I'm still in my initial stages of production, so I haven't had a chance to do multiple projects at the same time. So each one gets full attention, full part, and goes in. So even during the production time, I don't have to play favorites. It's like, oh, I'm dedicating more to this.
You're dedicating yourself to that baby. Yes, absolutely. I can't help but think, especially in this particular program, where obviously it was a full-on New Filmmakers LA LGBTQ plus celebration. But I just want your film, I want it to be seen by a lot of different people, because I think it's going to sit with people, to either educate, to empathize, to understand, or maybe it's something that would help their own family dynamic as well. It's so important that this film is like universal, and I think people, you know, it's tough enough as well coming from another country to live in the United States, let alone when you've got extra challenges, you know, on top of all of that. And it just brings me to the light of what did you want your audience to kind of take from your film? It was like a rapturous experience last night, but what kind of direction do you want your audience to sort of sit with your film?
Very well asked. You touched upon an important point. I'm myself a South Asian, Indian, Muslim, gay. And whenever I enter into a space, I come in as a whole. You either get me as a whole or you don't get me at all. You can't get piecemeal of the whole thing. With respect to brother, that's what it captures. It captures the part that a person is a whole. They are neither just a brother, not just a fiance, not just a son-in-law, not just a boyfriend. They are the same person all the time. And that's why even the dialogues and the scenes that happen, where in the same scene, different frames is describing the same person. They haven't changed from frame to frame, but how the people pursue them and how the point of view that changes from one frame to the other, how it changes into the whole thing. As to the point of what people take over, like one of the most, it's always a humbling event, every single film festival. Thank you for bringing us over here. And right after the screening last night, I had somebody walk up and share about how they resonated with it, how the relationship with their own sister was, like how similar and dissimilar it was. It was how relatable as well as unrelatable at the same time, how it went in. And the portrayal was so realistic, where we did debate on the part of it's like, should we make it in such a way that the sister automatically changes hearts and attends and comes in the part, versus it's like, should we keep it realistic? And it's like, life takes time. When I came out, it took time for my parents to have a conversation back, and it takes time. And so the realistic part, so at the end of the day, as long as people watch it and relate to it, think of it again and again in different aspects of the part, different things, if that happens, then I think I have been able to fulfill the hope and the wish of movie making. We make it for the audience. So
you've definitely done that in more ways than one, seriously. And so it's just nice. You got it last night, and there'll be many, many more that will get to experience and resonate with that as well. I'm ready for your next film, baby. Where are you taking us next?
So with Brother, luckily we have had close to 40 film festivals screenings.
That's amazing.
Yes, and knock on the wood, we also have achieved 20 awards so far. So we have had a 50% hit rate running on that one. We are on a streaming service, 2 streaming services as of now, which plays a short film. With respect to my own personal journey, I have my next film, which quote unquote also happens to be a standalone sequel of my first film. And we had a world premiere in London last month. So we are now trying to getting it out to distribution. The first one was on Netflix and Amazon Prime. So the second one would go in a similar direction. That's the hope. We're also planning for a theatrical release for that one. And then the streaming. And last but not least, another film is currently in the script mode, getting through it, trying to bring it to production in a year or two. That one.
Proud of you. Well, wherever you're going to take us next, please keep bringing films to New Filmmakers. We're so happy to have you part of us. But congratulations, brother, to all your cast and crew and everyone that was involved with you. You did a fantastic job. And thank you, Ali, for being here and coming from New York.
Thank you so much for having us.
Appreciate you.